So Warner is getting wrecked as they get pounded from every direction, from consumers to theaters and on. The thing is, Warner, they considered these acceptable losses. They figured that the people that were going after them, they don't really have any power to hurt their brand. Well, you know what? The Directors Guild of America does. And the Directors Guild of America is speaking out and saying the stuff that they did is quote-unquote unacceptable. Yeah, that says the gig is up. You guys, you are done. Man, let's talk about that now. So hey there to all you wonderful folks. I hope you're having a fantastic day, because today you and I, we are gathered once again to return to that wonderful world of Warner fireworks. And man, what a display we're having. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, so here's the nickel tour, a refresher as it were. On December the 3rd, Warner Brothers announced that its entire 2021 slate, comprised of 17 movies, would be hitting the theaters and it would be hitting HBO Max streaming simultaneously. This, it wasn't ran past any business partners. It wasn't ran past anyone at all. They just decided, hey, we can do that because, well, we're Warner Brothers. Now, a fascinating thing about this, at least initially, is that Warner Brothers, they put out this idea that they're not doing it for them, they're doing it for you. And lay people and part of the media, I would say even majority media, they bought into that hook, line, and sinker. I mean, never mind the idea that AT&T, the parent company for Warner, has $152 billion in debt hanging over them. Never mind the fact that 31% of their assets are spoken for in debt. No, they're doing this stuff for you. If anybody spoke up about that too, I mean, they were powerless to do anything about it until now you have places like the DGA or the Directors Guild of America not only speaking up, but what they're saying about this basically is that, hey, you lied to us. You told us one thing, and that's not what you're doing. Basically, you're in this to win this for number one, and you're leaving us all out to dry. Quote, the Directors Guild of America has told WarnerMedia that its decision to release Warner Brothers' full 2021 movie slate on HBO Max at the same time the films will be released in theaters is quote-unquote unacceptable and quote-unquote is contrary to both the long-standing relationship between the Directors Guild of America and Warner Brothers and explicit representations made by senior executives to the Directors Guild on this very issue. There you go. Hey, you lied to us about this. You misrepresented who you are. And what do you think happens when this stuff goes around? Try getting something made in Hollywood after the fact. Now, Warner Brothers and HBO Max are subsidiaries of WarnerMedia, the giant media conglomerate. We intend to take appropriate actions to protect the rights and interests of our members and request an immediate meeting to discuss this matter. DGA National Executive Director Russell Hollander said in a letter obtained by Deadline, and we're going to look at all of that. I just want to prep this first, sent December 8th to Ann Sarnoff, Chair and CEO of WarnerMedia Studios and Networks Group. Now, the DGA rep goes on to say, hey, Warner Brothers, you're trying to rip us off here. And you know what? We're not going to take that. I mean, sure, they say it in flowery prosaics, perhaps, but look at what this says, really. Warner Brothers, he noted, has made a proposal on how it intends to impute a license fee for the HBO Max simultaneous release for the purposes of determining profit participations. That proposal would result in an unacceptable and inadequate valuation for the license fee. While the conversations with our members, agents, and representatives may focus on profit participation and similar issues, we want to make it clear that the proposal, as we understand it, is inadequate as it relates to residual payments and is unacceptable to the Directors Guild of America. That is not acceptable to us, and you know what? Man, we have power out there. Now, you have to understand, too, that the Directors Guild of America, they represent people that are supposed to make back-end profits on this. You know, directors, they will spend years going into a project knowing that they can get paid on the back end of it. And WarnerMedia, they not only threw that away, but they didn't tell anyone what they were doing. You can see that mentioned here. The DGA first learned of WarnerMedia's decision through press accounts, so they found out about it through the media starting on December the 3rd. Imagine that. Imagine the insult to it, especially when you have the power to pretty much shut Warner Brothers down. I mean, that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing Warner say, we're going to do what we want. And all of these places, from theater chains to backers like Legendary, again, who spent hundreds of millions of dollars, to the Directors Guild of America, who represents talent, to actors and on, they're saying, no, you ain't going to do that at all. The DGA, they pretty much make this clear too. You can see statements like this here. They'll talk for a while and then they'll say things like, accordingly, the DGA must take steps to protect its members. So they're telling you, we're going to go out, we're going to do something about this. And what does Warner think that they can do if they're pretty much locked out of everything within Hollywood? Like I said, they made this move because they're desperate. But desperation, it looks like it created something even uglier. So this is going to be the entirety of the letter. Watch some of the not-so-veiled threats in here. Watch how they say things by, hey, we were taken aback by the lack of transparency that you showcased in not telling us this. We are insulted, and you know what? We can do something about it. So, dear Anne, it starts out, this letter is written in response to WarnerMedia's recent decision to release its entire 2021 slate of Warner Brothers theatrical motion pictures day and date on the HBO Max streaming service. The DGA first learned of WarnerMedia's decision through press accounts starting on December 3rd. Again, wasn't told about it at all. It is an understatement to say the Guild was taken aback by the lack of transparency exhibited by WarnerMedia regarding this significant decision, which is contrary to both the long-standing relationship between the DGA and Warner Brothers and explicit representations made by senior executives to the DGA on this very issue. The DGA and Warner Brothers have enjoyed a long-standing and productive relationship that goes back many decades. Our ability to work together for the good of the industry was also a significant factor in many industry negotiations, including the successfully conducted negotiations regarding the first set of terms and conditions governing productions made for new media in 2008 and the recently concluded Return to Work agreement. The unilateral decision to release the entire 2021 slate day and date on HBO Max without any prior discussion or even basic information provided in advance to the Guild is inconsistent with our dealings over the years. So here, you didn't even give us basic information. While we certainly realize the industry is not immune to the effects of the beer bug, changing release patterns in the way WarnerMedia has announced will deeply impact our members. Here we go into our not-so-veiled threats here. WarnerMedia's recent action directly contradicts specific representations made to the DGA by senior executives, they give names here, at November 2019 meeting prior to DGA negotiations. At that meeting, the Guild was reassured that WarnerMedia was committed to traditional theatrical release patterns and would not seek to build HBO Max at the expense of Warner Brothers' feature film slate. So right here, you have them calling them out, saying this is why you're doing it. With respect to sales of Warner Brothers feature films and television programs, we were told HBO Max would be bidding against third parties, and that any agreed upon license to exhibit such films on HBO Max would be the result of a bidding process and arm's-length negotiations. The fact that this method of providing content to entities under the same corporate umbrella has now changed in and of itself should have warranted an advance call to the Guild. So here, you cut us out of the process again. You lied to us about it. How do you think that's going to come up? WarnerMedia's reversal on the theatrical release patterns not only restricts our members' ability to have their films seen in a manner in which they were intended, it also affects their income. So you're ripping off our people, like I said. Now they're going to get into money. And remember, Warner, they pretty much want these people to do this for free while enriching Warner, and that's not going to happen. So with respect to the latter, the DGA's residual formula for feature films are based upon a percentage of gross receipts paid to the director, in some instances members of the directorial team, and our pension plan. So there's three things that get ripped off there. The Guild is concerned about the manner in which the rights to feature films were provided to HBO Max. So how exactly did you come up with this? How do you have the rights to do this? The valuation methodology and the implication of such transferal pricing to the long-term valuation of the asset. Basically, you're killing the movies over time, and we're not going to do it. And then we come to this, like I pointed out before. Accordingly, the DGA must take steps to protect its members. The Guild has discussed the issue raised by day-and-date releases with agents and representatives of the affected directors. We are aware Warner Brothers has made a proposal on how it intends to impute a license fee with HBO Max simultaneous release for the purposes of determining profit participation. That proposal would result in an unacceptable and inadequate valuation of license fee. I agree with this too. Basically, if you're just releasing it like that, you're not going to make anywhere near the amount of money that you would make in a theatrical setting for someone. But, Warner Brothers, they're going to get theirs. That's messed up. While the conversations with our members' agents and representatives may focus on profit participation and similar issues, we want to be clear that the proposal, as we understand it, is inadequate as it relates to residual payments and is unacceptable to the DGA. It is difficult to overstate the importance of these issues, including the impact theatrical experience and potential loss of income due to reduced revenue streams to DGA members. And here we have yet again a not-so-veiled statement. We intend to take appropriate action to protect the rights and interests of our members and request an immediate meeting to discuss this matter. I look forward to your response. Sincerely, and it breaks off. Think about the long-term ramifications of this too. You're going to see lawsuits. You have theaters saying, hey, we're going to screen their movies. We're not going to bring them all in. Basically, if you don't make us X amount of money, we're not going to play your stuff anymore. Actors, directors, they won't trust them. Other companies like Legendary, they won't trust this company. Again, you look at what this is going to cause. All of this because Warner is already drowning in debt. I mean, if you think about the level of desperation that triggered that, you ain't seen nothing yet. That's why I said this company, they are done. They are on a road to ruin. They've already ticked off consumers and everyone else too. And another thing that they did, they made a lucrative deal for everyone out there to keep them quiet about Wonder Woman 1984. They don't want to pay those rates, but they already set the standard. That stuff, like I said, it is wrecking them, and it is interesting to watch. But anyway, let me know what you think about this stuff, and as always, I appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff possible. And if you want to support the channel, there are links in the description. Our comic book, it closes out at the end of this month, by the way. We're getting to print and everything else. But yes, anyway, I appreciate the heck out of you. Hope to see you soon. Make sure you comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff too. Feed that algorithm, baby. But anyway, thanks folks, and we'll see you soon.